Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to Skye and Evan in the morning. And today we're gonna be talking about Eternals, the 2021 MCU film by Chloe Zhao that everyone seemed to hate for some reason, but I love. And yeah, Evan, what did you think of Eternals on your second watch after what, 4 years? Damn, 4 years.
4 years. Yeah, it's funny. I'm pretty sure I just never bothered to watch it again. I
Mm.
watched it in theaters, and you. I don't know if you told the story on stream last time, but it was like super begrudging. I was just like, oh my god. It was like, you guys told me about it, and I watched it because of that. But I in theaters, even though I watched it like low key, I went in almost wanting to hate it. It was like, and the crawl when it said like in the beginning, I'm like, oh my god, you people, like you think you're so cool and so, like what? But when the actual movie started, like I got invested,
Mm.
and I do think this movie takes its time and it focuses on characters, like arguably more than a lot of other MCU movies. Like the action is pretty sparse through
Yeah.
and through. Like it's not people accuse like late Marvel of being like slop. And when I watch this movie, it doesn't feel like the worst the MCU has to offer nowadays. Like this is not just action and jokes and like I have a problem with the humor, but
Yeah, I saw you
it
tweeting about it.
it's handled so much better than a lot of MCU movies nowadays, and I just do not understand why everyone seemed to just disregard and despise the movie because it's not that bad if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I generally think it's great. And it's like, it's such a weird movie for everyone to choose. I mean, I kind of get it. It kind of has that vibe of like the MCU's art house film, I guess, of being like, ooh, this is like ensemble cast
Yeah.
where we focus on the
Well,
characters instead of the action, and it's all about like the beauty of humanity. Like it is a little bit
and they do
pretentious, I
like
guess, for like a better
lean.
word.
I wish they were more consistent with it, but there is like the way they depict the Celestials, like when they're in front of it, and you just see like a human compared to it. They do make these people feel like they're puppets of gods.
Mm,
Better than like other like I feel like they feel more interesting than Captain Marvel or like other like they've tried to make other characters in space feel like such incredibly powerful beings, and the whole way their powers work with like being able to fight deviants. We'll get into the world building in a minute, but I like how that's handled compared to some other stories they've tried to make feel big and bold.
yeah, I mean, I love the design of the Celestials. I mean, the CGI is also phenomenal. I love that, just that shot at the
Yeah,
end with Tiamat, not Tiamat, sorry, Arishem with them like on
and
his
his hand,
hand, and
yeah,
he's just like
it's
talking to
really
them. It's so
picturesque. Like,
imposing. It's great. Every time they show Arishem, because like he looks like the scariest god of all. It's so fucking cool.
yeah, and his voice too. Like, I looked the guy up. He hasn't had a lot of big roles, but he's done like a lot of like additional voice work.
Hmm.
But the way he does his performance, it's not like he's trying to like sound unique. He's just like trying to sound like he has a command to his
Yeah.
voice. It like because it's not supposed to sound like human, and I love how the Celestials are depicted, and I think like I think the cinematography people like I think it's genuinely great in this
Oh, me
movie. I
too.
think there's like a gray like tone, like the actual like color grading. I'm not the biggest fan of, but this does not look like it was shot on a sound stage. This doesn't
Oh
look
yeah.
like everything
Well,
is
most of
CGI
this
and
time there,
fake
it's actually
and
shot on location, which is beautiful. It's like, oh,
yeah.
they actually went to these places that
Well,
the Eternals are like traveling to, because the movie takes place all over the world, which is great.
Well, yeah, the lake scene after Gilgamesh dies when they have like the
Oh, I love
bonfire. I
that
remember
scene.
just looking at that and I was like, you can tell they actually built a fire and that they're
Yeah,
actually at a lake. It's like it's not a lot to ask, but like for the modern MCU,
yeah.
it is. So yeah, I I think the movie looks very good
Hmm.
and it's
I
shot
think
very
the thing
well.
with the color grading is that the modern times look kind of gray, whereas when you flash back, there's usually a lot more color.
Yeah,
Because like I
bit
remember
more.
when
I think they
we cut to like the that scene of Icarus and Cersei like, you know, being happy together, and then we have a what's the name? Shit. What's
Of whom?
a cut? I forgot the name of the cut. The match cut. That's it. My brain right now.
Ah.
There is a match cut with her face in a modern times. It's like it's very gray and desaturated. I'm like, okay. So back then we were doing everything more colorful, which I kind of get the point that they're doing with like, the advancements, kind of, humanity destroying their own culture and everything.
Well, the third act as well, I'd say that is like kind of the peak of like the grayish, like not as good as the rest of the movie look at. And what can you do? It's mostly CGI. It's like a fucking volcano's going off. So like I get it, but I do wish they'd made like the
lighting
colors
there
a little
could
bit
have been more
yeah.
colorful instead of just the bland way that it is.
Yeah.
I agree with
It
that.
can look washed out, but I do not think it looks fake. Not
Mhm.
as fake as other MCU and again, I hate to just like be like keep throwing that out there, but like, Spider-Man like Far From Home, like that's very green screen and CGI like reliant, and I don't know. So do you want to let's talk about the world building, because that was one of the
Sure.
biggest problems I had. It's a problem with a lot of people, and I'm just like I've not read any of the Eternals comics. Someone was replying to me on Twitter and saying that apparently in the comics, like the Celestials are like, or the Eternals are like experimental beings. Like that's why they're like made to test different superpowers. And that's actually a thing in the movie when he says like they use their memories to like gather data.
Yeah,
So it's
to
almost
perfect
like,
these Celestials, yeah.
yeah, almost like if you like made a Terminator and then you like you learned from its mistakes and then
Yeah.
like made another Terminator kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
so that kind of translates, but the purpose of them with like fighting deviants and like making the world like an egg, I don't think that is like a thing. And I forgot that Ajax literally says it. They mentioned that Thanos snapped his fingers, and it's after they lay out what happened. So I'm like, hold on a minute. They're like, it delayed the emergence when like half of the population was gone for like 5 years. I'm like, wouldn't that have like resulted like a miscarriage? Like how
I
can
mean,
just
probably
half of
not.
the
I mean, we don't know
the,
how it works. I think there's just like assuming a lot of shit. Like,
well, that's the thing. We don't know how it works, and
well, yeah, we
what
just
we do
assume like
know
he
is,
could still be there and just waiting still. Like, I don't know. It's just
yeah, but
energy. It's not. It's not like it's an actual like gestating like egg.
well, the only thing that we know about it is that it needs intelligent life
Yeah.
and enough intelligent life to hatch.
Yeah.
But my question there is, there like we needed to let them advance, and then like war. I think Druid or someone says that like that war
Fastos.
results in like, yeah, he says like that results in like advances in technology and medical practice, which is
Yeah.
true. But so like, wouldn't it be easier to almost like farm people Matrix style in that event? Like keep people pacified and just because they have the technology to do it. They have like advancements in technology to give them anything they want. So it's like,
I
but
think
like they
if
destroy
they,
themselves.
I
So
I
they'd
think if they
be,
did that, it would be like very hands on, and Arishem doesn't work like that. He just leaves it for his minions to do his bidding. And it
well, yeah,
probably
but they
and it
could
deals with the
have,
time.
couldn't they?
I mean, they could have. They could have used
I
them like Matrix style, yeah, but that's not how Arishem does it.
Yeah, well, in
I mean, they
Arishem,
even
like
say
he's
there is even
millions
a
of years old.
point. Well, yeah, that, but there's also even a point that I mean, Cersei and Ajax say that it's like this. His methods are violent and outdated, so it's like maybe he's just like doing it because it's like part of his, you know, I guess his culture. I guess like he's always done it that way, so he's
Yeah.
not going to
Well,
change it. And I think there is a
well,
very
even
interesting
Ajax.
thing that the movie's saying about religion with that. To be honest,
Yeah, and questioning like your own authorities
yeah,
and orders. I do appreciate that element. It is the classic, learning the truth of like something. Like tons of stories do that, where like characters vaguely know what they're supposed to be doing, and then it turns out to be a lie. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but the way it's just so confusing how and also with like it hatching in the third act, and like being frozen, like the damage that would do to the earth. Like
Oh yeah,
I always cited like just
that's like the one thing that I'm like, I can't really defend that. It doesn't bother me because I'm like, whatever. Like suspension of disbelief, you can kind of just hand wave it away from me. But I
yeah,
completely understand someone be like, well, that should have destroyed the earth because he came from the core. So I'm like, yeah, it's completely fair criticism.
well, well, not even that. Like, just what they show that hand and that of like that would like the tsunamis that would result in. There would be like flooding. Like, in I forget exactly where it is. Like, it's like near Africa, like southern Asia. Like that could have like flooded a huge part of that. But I they only did that to like make the third act like more like, oh my
Well, the
god, it's
only
happening. Like,
reason they had him actually poking out of the earth is because they needed the second wind in the third act, because they needed Druig
yeah,
to lose and then Cersei to actually be the one to get it done.
and to actually see it, like to
Yeah.
see it, like it freeze,
Yeah.
like the effect wouldn't work as well if they're like, hey, it worked underground.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. it's it's a little ridiculous, but so the deviants, what he says is that the deviants were made to wipe out, because there's that like lecture earlier in the movie, like what are apex predators? It's like
Yeah.
but so they were meant to destroy like the predators that would like kill humans, but he just says like he made a mistake,
Yeah.
and that they like just
Evolved on their
and
own,
suck and are evil, and it's like, hold on, what, you can't like, you don't have the power to like erase them, like
Clearly
as a
not.
celestial, or like you need them, like why do you
Well,
need the
clearly not.
Eternals to do that?
The same thing as the Eternals. He can't just like snap his fingers and they're dead.
Yeah, I get. Well, I guess. I mean, like, it's like, is he like Thanos? I'm like, probably not.
No,
It's
he's
probably more a specific type of power. It's like they make suns, but this is where it's like, so if that's the case, then why isn't everyone like psycho OP as the Eternals? And like, I guess the answer, of course, is that it's a comic book movie, and it's like, okay, but
Oh, you mean
it's
like why
weird.
they don't
Some
give
of
them
people,
like the super OP powers? Is that what you mean?
yeah, well, Cersei, for instance, like she's a semi-glass cannon. She's almost like Eve, or like the Benders from like Avatar, and Druig. Like he can control people's minds, but independently, he almost doesn't have any powers that are like useful against deviants, unless there's like other people around. And it's like, and one of them being deaf as well, and Sprite. It's like, why are there these like deficiencies
Well, they're made
in the
to
Eternals?
be able to blend in with humans. It's the entire
Well,
thing.
yeah, that's why like the cast is so diverse. Again, another what but I get that. It's just that like you'd think they'd almost all be Icarus at that point. Like that you think that you'd want to make them as efficient as, and that they wouldn't have all that much consciousness. Like, but I guess the point of that is like to use their memories.
Yeah. And he
I
is
don't know.
developing the system as it goes. And it's the kind of thing where it's like he is he think, I don't know. He just uses this as like, oh, using his minions to do his bidding, and he thinks they're like unfeeling and whatever, but they're not. Like he even says it when he mentions that to them, that they're like, just robots made to do his bidding. And they're like, unable to evolve, but obviously they've evolved, even though they've been like having their memories erased. Like part of it still remains with them. I mean, it's kind of the similar concept to The Good Place, funnily enough. But it's like I guess he's hubris or whatever, where he thinks like these beings are not gonna like try to go against me, because I'm like their god, and he just finds that easier to do when he has like other matters to deal with, probably.
Well, if that were the case, then why wouldn't everyone know the truth? Like, why only tell Ajax the real mission? Because it does give everyone somewhat of a come to Jesus moment. I'm like, so he kept it a secret for a reason. I'm like, did he not think that they would comply? And like,
I think the entire point is that it's at the Prime Eternal's discretion, and Ajax didn't think she should tell anyone other than Icarus, who she told, and then it turned out to be a mistake. Well, to be fair, it was a mistake in terms of like her point of view, but in terms of Arishem, Icarus knowing was a good thing. But yeah,
maybe. uh, the world building is well, and so the last big thing I think that I find weird. I mentioned Thanos snapping, and like you'd think that
Hmm.
would like cause problems with the celestial birth, but apparently it's just a delay.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly the deal is with like why it needs intelligent life, but my other thing is, so they're like, they literally bring it up. They're like, why didn't you like stop like against like Thanos, and like why didn't you
Hmm.
fight with all those other times? Like we were only supposed to do it with deviants. It's like,
Yeah.
hold on though. The only reason why you believe you're meant to fight deviants is to like protect humans and to like protect people. So I'm like, wouldn't that mean that any threat like that would be something that you want to go against? Then you're like, then you like, for someone like Ajak who knows the truth, she would know that the only reason they're there is to like foster people, and that if like everyone dies, the celestial won't be born. So it's like Ultron, that shit, you would have to stop that, otherwise like he was literally trying to destroy the world, right? Like he was trying to full out like asteroid like dinosaurs like the Earth, right?
Yeah. Trying to
Uh,
terraform Earth. I mean, did they
that
even hear about it? Like during Age of
Well,
Ultron?
it does like happen fast. Maybe you
Yeah.
could be like,
It's the same
well,
thing I
maybe they
think of
wouldn't even
Infinity War. Like
notice
it
it went
happens in
down.
Wakanda, and then
Mhm.
like they don't know anything that's going on, and then
Well,
people are snapped, and they only learn about it after the snap happens.
yeah. Well, an Infinity War is like a kind of all hands on deck type of a thing. Like this is what I love about X-Men 97. Like the question of like where the Avengers were, like this and that. I'm like, they're busy because like bad shit's going down everywhere in like the
Uh-huh.
finale episodes of that series. So, and they show everyone fighting. So it's like it could have been like that. But like Thanos specifically, and like some of the other like threats that really could have like destroyed the entire world, like that would concern them. But
I
they
think it
they just
might, but it's the kind of thing where it's like they're following their directives, and they've not interfered before when like like when genocide has happened before. Like they even show
yeah.
Hiroshima.
Well,
It's like, will this actually
that,
help in the long run to make it faster? It kind of
uh,
does, right? Because when they snap everyone back, the population is just like, yep, now we have everyone back to for Tiamat to be born. So it kind of does work out in their favor.
true, but they wouldn't have that wouldn't have been a problem if they'd like stopped him. I don't even know if they could have, but
Yeah, I mean,
I
probably
don't
not.
know.
And again, they need to like. I mean, that's the kind of thing. I don't even know who could have gotten there. I guess Icarus and Makari. I guess they have the
Yeah.
Domo,
They would
though it wasn't fixed by that point. It was yeah.
they would have been pretty OP. I just said like, could they have stopped? Like both of them, like that, they would have helped if nothing else. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like, why is it that way? It's like it's because they weren't in any of the other movies, and this is my general
But
frustration
I
with the
just think it
MCU.
works really well for their characters though, like them because it is the entire thing with Druig that he wants to interfere and help people and not let this barbarism continue,
Well,
but then but like they're told not to, you know.
well, he's my favorite character in the
Oh,
movie because
Druig
it's
is the best,
exactly
yes.
that he like chooses to like interfere when, and it's his whole power. It's like his whole power is like controlling people and manipulating people, and
Yeah,
he can use it for good, and he just is like, there reaches a point where he's like, I won't not use my powers, like
yeah.
kill me if you want to stop me. But hey, so like if we want to start like talking about the general plot, that's like a thing that I have with this movie. I wish that they'd done more interesting things with the characters like after they'd split apart, because even Druid, he's just like, he's in the Amazon, and he's
Hmm.
like, those are people like that he's kept around, and it's almost like he's built a church around him or something, and it's like,
I
what,
think he's just like built a
what did
community of
he?
people he feels safe around. Is kind of the point of like
Yeah.
because he even says like the entire thing like he didn't control all humans because erasing their flaws will make them not human anymore. So just like he's there, just like with a
Tr-
group of people he appreciates.
True, but like you would think there'd be something. His whole thing was like stopping conflicts and
Yeah.
stopping wars. Like you would think he would try. Or here's an idea that I had. Maybe this would have worked better as a TV show. Like, because this was the year that they started doing the whole like Marvel TV shows, like Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm like,
Hmm.
maybe this would have worked better as like 6 to 8 episodes, where like Ajak could have died in the first episode, and then you could have dedicated more time to bringing everyone together, and then maybe you could have figured out like the truth about Icarus in like episode 6 or so. And I do feel this movie is like 2.5 hours long, and it's pressed for time. It's they're trying to like cram a lot of material and a lot of character in, and there's only so much you can do in the time that you have.
I don't know. I think it's pretty good. There's one deleted scene though that I wish was in the movie, which is Makari and Sprite talking. That
I did
right
I did
outside the
think
film.
Sprite was particularly undercooked.
Yeah,
It's like
Sprite is definitely the
with
least developed character. So yeah.
yeah, which sucks because like she with Icarus, she just turns and it's like there's like a
I
moment
mean,
kind
it
of like that
is.
in X-Men 97 that I love because like the character's turn is so well developed, and then another character like goes along. Like I love that scene, and like in that it's just like, oh, she loves him. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you didn't catch on. I'm like, well, it would have been nice if they depicted that beyond her like pretending to be an older woman in the bar and like just being pouty. It's like, come on, like, and
I don't know. I think
I
that's
like,
doing a disservice to like her character and the subtleties before that. I think every time she talks, you can
yeah,
see that she is like very much like mourning a life she wanted to live but never could.
yeah, and she says as much several times. Like
Yeah.
they do give Sprite material. I wish like with Icarus specifically, like I wish certain conversations had happened
Hmm.
in but I feel they're pushed aside in favor of jokes, especially with Kingo's character, because
I
the
genuinely,
Bollywoods
I was
is
so
so
confused why you
fucking
were so
extra.
focused on the jokes because there was like one joke that I thought was out of place in the entire movie. I was like, okay.
I really don't like the humor in this. So for one, it's that I think like it doesn't add up all that much with the characters themselves. It's my frustration with like Thor, where it's like Thor in the first movie is like speaking full Shakespearean and like doesn't act human. And then like from that point on, basically it's just like, yeah, he's just hung out with the Avengers. Like he just like them. He talks like them. It's like that's kind of boring, isn't it? Like in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, like Thor acts that way through and through. You always get the sense that he is an Asgardian god and that he is not like just some guy. He's a god, and you know he likes being around the other people, and he's friends with them, of course, but he's not the same as them. And I feel the jokes and the way the characters talk in this movie, it separates them from that. It makes it feel like they aren't like these beings that are thousands of years old because they just talk and act like any other character in the MCU. And it
Well,
is,
yeah, but they're blending in with the humans. It's the entire thing.
well, not when they're like alone. There's so many scenes where
No,
they
but
like
that's the kind
share
of
dialogue and make
no,
jokes.
yeah,
Like,
but it's like because they've been around humans their entire lives, they're gonna pick up like the way to act from the other humans. I mean, it's just how it is.
sort of. I see like, but still, when you've lived for thousands of years, like there's an act that you'll be presenting, but like in basic dialogue, I would not think the characters would be using the kind of language they do, nor making jokes like straight up at characters' expenses. Like there's one time where Kingo is like recording when they're getting on the ship, and he calls like Fausto, is that his name, or
Bastos?
Yeah, Faustos. He like calls him like a coward. Technically, he like says like it turns out like a trait that's like not missing is like cowardice or something like that. I'm like, wow, like making a joke at your friend's expense. It's par for the course
Well, yeah, they're
with the
like
MCU,
basically, but they're like
but
basically like a family. It's like making fun of your brother. I mean, I thought that was very in
yeah,
character for him.
I I think that they make inappropriate jokes because this is after like one of theirs has just died. Like, they like
Well, yeah, but it's the entire
yeah.
thing with Kingo is that he
And
keeps making jokes as like a coping mechanism. Like,
well, no one else finds them funny. That's
well,
my frustration with his character is everyone like keeps being like, dude, stop.
yeah,
Like
and he
no one else
doesn't.
is
It's like
laughing
his
at his
entire
jokes.
point,
And
the entire point of his character is that he's making bad jokes as a way to cope when everyone is taking the situation seriously. Like, I get that it's like MCU type of humor, quote unquote, but it's like it is very much his character, the way he's characterized, that he is this way because he struggles to deal with like real things. It's very rare that he gets a real moment, and when he does, you can see the weight that it has on him, like the family abandoning, basically like the family disbanding and everything, and him saying that he'd follow Icarus like to the end and everything.
Yeah. Well, and that's the frustration for me is I have trouble like appreciating those moments. Like Morph in X-Men 97 is like such a great example of like how to write a humorous character because they know when to not make jokes and when things are serious and and they do make jokes that are like even like downright inappropriate. Like I wrote the beginning of a script that um talked about like like their initial joke that like someone says like stop being a creep morph and I'm like I wish there was more like that where people would like genuinely like Sprite on the plane was probably my favorite example of that where like she was shutting him down, but for the most part people are just like just
Well,
kind
yeah.
of sit there and
Well,
just
yeah,
let
it's
him tell
dealing
his
with your
jokes and
annoying sibling. You let them like be annoying, and you poke fun at them sometimes, but you don't. You're not gonna be like fuck off. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It just felt like a sibling dynamic between all of them.
I found it like almost to the point that I would call it like difficult for like to square with the character. I found them really frustrating. I don't know if I would like I was thinking about like who could potentially be dropped in this movie because I love Gilgamesh and I love Thena, like they're dynamic and
Mm-hmm.
that like he like stayed with her to protect her in spite of the fact that like she could have killed him.
Yeah.
That moment, by the way, when he like just gives like the enchilada of all punches to the ground and just like she thumps down and gets knocked out straight away. Like it was interesting how his power works. He just like
Mm-hmm.
has like a one giant punch as his power. That was a really good dynamic. Obviously, Icarus and Cersei are a pairing, and it's like Sprite is like almost like Cersei's sister, though that could have been a little better developed. I was thinking, what's the name of the speedster?
Makari.
Makari. Because correct me if I'm wrong, she just stayed on the ship
Yeah.
for like hundreds, if not thousands of years, just read.
Not thousands, hundreds.
That,
Yeah. 500 years, and she
that
just kept up with
I,
like human inventions and made well,
what?
that's said in the deleted scene. She made like a museum of human history inside there, just like collecting things.
Well, let me go back. Hang on. Yeah, that's 90 minutes. That's 90 minutes that she's just not in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thinking, like I mentioned a TV show, like what this really does remind me of is The Haunting of Hill House.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's almost like a murder mystery. Like someone dies at the beginning of the story, and it's like, okay, what the fuck? And then bring everyone together, and then there's like midpoint conflicts. Like you could have like because there's the action almost does that every time like a deviant fight goes down. It's like that. And then you know, it builds to a third act. And I'm just like, I feel like this would have been better handled because you could have, if you dedicated TV episodes to these characters, you could have explored who they were before they had to meet up and like join the group again
Mm-hmm.
and like told the actual story, like trying to figure out who killed Ajax. And that could have been what drove the entire story. But in a movie, when you're 90 minutes in and you're reintroducing Makare, it's like, could she have not just been cut? Because then like she's like cutesy with Druig, and I'm like, wait, that was the thing. I'm like, yeah, there's like that one scene of the flash, but I'm like, but like they're like in love, I guess. It's like
They're just
it's just so
flirting, dude.
undercooked.
I mean, their love is a little. They're just flirting. We don't even see them kiss. They genuinely
That
just flirt.
I guess so. It's a little something, and I liked it because again, like Druig's my favorite character
Yeah.
in the movie, but
And Barry Keoghan is phenomenal.
yeah, I do I do think his acting is a little. I'm not sure what it is. There was something about like his voice and his specific inflections that I found a bit strange. Like at least compared to some of his other performances I've seen, I don't know what it is. But he's also like really sarcastic and laid back in the movie. He like doesn't he's almost like the opposite of Kingo in terms of like just making jokes. He's just
Uh,
almost sarcastic and pessimistic all the
yeah.
time, and I like that. But
I mean, yeah, he even says to Karim of like, oh yeah, humanity's gonna destroy itself one day. Don't you realize that? I'm like, Jesus Christ, poor guy.
yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
Druig is the best character.
Makare, I almost thought could have like been subtracted, and
I
is
mean,
it
Makar,
Fastos? Is that how you say his name?
yeah, Fastos. Makari, I would
That
definitely agree that she's like her. She's the least developed, and she's not focused on like at all because, like you said, she's not in most of the movie. I don't think it's like a problem, but I kind of get that it's like maybe she wasn't necessary to be in the movie. And Sprite is probably like the least developed of the characters who actually get like quite a bit of runtime. It's why I
well,
don't like that they cut the scene between Makari and Sprite talking outside the domo because it's genuinely really good and it helps develop Sprite and it helps develop Makari. So yeah.
well, Fastos is another example of one that I feel like would have benefited from an episode because like everyone makes fun of the Hiroshima thing where it's just like, oh my God, right? Like that was what I laughed at when I was watching it. It's like, I did this if I had it like, I'm like, dude, where have you been? This is World War II. All the technological advances, all the technology has been used in all aspects of the war. It's all on you. Like the nuke, like it's not like you, like that's where you draw the line. Like so many people have been dead by this point already,
Well,
and
yeah,
I
but it's like what a nuke
and
can do. It's the entire point of like
well,
Oppenheimer. It's not just like that they
well,
detonated a nuke, it's that they have the capability of making nukes now. Like that's what's scary.
well. Imagine this is why they went with that. It's like, well, you could just do it in one scene, just one scene where he's just there. I'm like, whereas imagine an episode where you showed different points in history and the advancements in technology and his concern of it reaching too much of an apex and it getting to that point where he's like they've gone too far. We need to take some of their technology away, or that like they've gotten too good at killing each other. And that could have built to something like this where he'd like been faced with the ultimate horror and thought that he'd like given humanity the tools to destroy themselves. But
Yeah, that could have been
and then
cool. I don't think it's necessary, but it could have been cool.
well then his family. The reason I say that is because we're talking about 5 minutes of screen time. And again, I love that people like threw a hissy fit over it. And it is classic Disney, just token gayism. It's like, hey, there's a gay couple. It's like, thank you, you did it. But like, we barely get any material between these two. I wish that he'd shared a scene with his husband, like where he was just alone and they could talk about it. Where like they weren't involved, but they didn't have time because we had to have the giant Bollywood dance. Like that was really important to, and all the jokes. Like that was more important than like scenes where the characters actually like talk about what like they're facing the end of the world. And I wish there was more scenes that flesh them out rather than like kind of moving along. Because some characters like Sprite and like Faustos just get kind of the shaft in terms of like what material they have, because again, there's only so much you can do in 2.5 hours.
I mean, I don't see any issue with Festus's character. I thought the scene that he shared with his husband and they kiss and everything, I thought was very nice. I thought it informed his decision
Me,
to actually fight for humanity. I think it's cool.
me too. I just wish there was more of it because like I said, 5 minutes. It's like it's just not my and again, like well, most of that I'm saying is him talking to Icarus and Cersei rather than his husband or his kid. And I mean, you get a little bit of them after the battle, so that there's that, but I don't know. They were definitely the lesser developed characters, and there are a lot of them in this movie.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's
hmm.
quite clear that they focus on a few characters more than others. I mean, as much as I love Druig, he's my favorite character. He's not the one that's focused on the most. The main
Yeah.
characters are
Well,
Cersei and Icarus for sure.
Yeah, I think he's a show stealer in that regard. Like, yeah, they're Cersei and Icarus. Like, the movie pretty much is about them.
Yeah.
They're the focus of the story.
And obviously their relationship is a big
So
reason why they succeed anyway, because he decides not to fight her and just let her defeat him. So yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, we should talk about Icarus because you were mentioning that you think it's ridiculous that Icarus is not like considered a top 5 MCU villain, and I'm like, I am with you. Like, people do not talk about Icarus. It is so interesting him as a villain that he's like completely regretful. He's like this is where I'm wondering what they'll do with McGill O'Hara inside of Beyond the Spider-Verse, because like everyone's like, hey, he's like the good guy, like he's the hero of his own story. I'm like, no, not at certain points unless we know more about him. But Icarus, like, I love that he's just like sticking by what he was built for, what he was made to do, his mission, and
Well, it's what I
anyone deviating
mentioned,
from that.
that it's like it's very much like a commentary on religion. Like, yeah, it's my purpose. I was built for this, so I'm going to follow the world blindly, even if it like hurts people I love, because it's just like it's what I was made to do, so I may as well. It's like he didn't listen to Ajak, but she said like live your lives, because he thought no, there's a bigger purpose. So he like neglected his own life. I think it's very interesting, like as a commentary of like religion. I really like it.
Yeah. But by the way, I hate to do this when I'm praising Icarus, but oh my god, Ajak, I'm like, how fucking worthless are you? With the she literally picks up a shotgun that like one of the miners had. It's like, Ajak,
Whoa, she's made to
what
fight
is she
like
just like?
what, 3, 4 deviants on her own? It's kind of what you expect.
Well, true. There's like that mega deviant.
And she,
Like,
yeah,
I
she
get
was doing
it,
pretty
but
well until the deviant like came out of the cave and like zapped her with the fucking tentacles.
well, I think is like, what were her powers? Because it's like, is healing just
She,
the main power? Other than that,
yeah.
she's just like kind of an average Eternal. Like, why is she the like prime Eternal? Like, I guess like because she's wise, or it's like,
Well,
okay.
it's as the yeah, well,
Like,
yeah. I mean, probably that, and also like as the healer, it kind of makes sense that everyone would kind of look up to you. I kind of get it.
yeah. And I do like that. Like, Icarus isn't like the main
Well,
character
I
or like the
love that
prime
it's like a
Eternal. It leads
big part
everybody,
of his
and
character that
they
it is like that he is not the leader, and that hurts him a lot because he was always
yeah.
very,
Well,
very devoted to Erisham. And I mean, it's why it's funny because in the Eternals
I
trailer they have that joke of like, "Oh, I could lead the Avengers," and everyone laughs.
yeah.
But in the movie, they actually have like a conversation about like you could lead the Avengers, like you couldn't even lead us, and you could see his expression, him getting mad. It's like, oh, you were actually doing character
Well,
stuff here.
Well, imagine again. I can only bring up the TV idea so many times, but imagine had that. Imagine him being more bothered when he realized that Cersei had been chosen by Ajak to lead them. Like, imagine had he like been like, why didn't she pick me?
Hmm.
That like you could have had a scene like that where she thinks, and like that could have even played into the third act and him like trusting her to like, defeat the Celestial, and like he does just kind of give it up at the end and just like thinks it isn't worth it, and just it's just you could have done more. It helps, like his performance is amazing, and I really like how they handle his character, but again, even you could have done more had you had more time. But as it stands, I think it works really well, and it's more interesting than most villains, because it's not even like they go for like the villain is really right, or is trying to like redeem himself or something like that. I'm like, nah, he does fill a villainous role in the third act and
Hmm.
throughout the movie retrospectively. I also love that he just says that, is that he says the only reason he was like with them was to protect them from the deviants.
Hmm.
And it's like because he doesn't want them to die.
Yeah.
He was hoping that they would be on board with it. So, but obviously they
Very
fight back
interesting,
and they
very
want to stop.
complex character. I really like him.
Yeah, in terms of MCU villains, he is up
Up
there.
there,
I
yeah.
really like how it's handled. Post Endgame, who else? And do not say the Green Goblin.
What? No, I
Who?
was gonna say the
Shut.
fuck. What's the name? I always forget his name. The one from Guardians 3. The
Oh,
age
the High Evolutionary.
high
High Evolutionary.
evolutionary. Yes, I really like him.
Yeah, I I did too.
I do
More of the
think,
actor's performance than the
yeah,
character, but
the character is a bit less complex, but so like I think Icarus is probably a better written villain, but I love Guardians 3. But that's a whole other thing. I am a little pressed for time. Do we have much more to say?
Not too much, honestly. I don't know how long we've been going. I could probably talk for long. This is an interesting movie, I'll tell you.
Mhm.
It's I
Would you
liked it,
recommend
and
it? That's the big thing.
yes, so, that is the big thing, and unambiguously, yes. I find it ridiculous that I was talking to my brother about this movie because he stopped watching it, and I just find it ridiculous how, like, seemingly everyone hates this movie, and I'm like, "Give it a try. Give it a genuine, like,
Hmm.
30-minute try." If you find it boring, I'm like, there's not much I can do. I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it if you find it a boring film or too slow paced, but I really do think there's some good in here, and I do think it's worth a watch, a fair watch. And
Hmm.
yeah, I don't love it. I definitely don't, but there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good amidst like the less than solid and what could have been better developed, let's say.
Hmm. Yeah, I personally love this movie. I find very little to fault with it. I completely understand a lot of your criticisms. I think as a package it works as is really well. It is funny the way it ends because it's like there's the ending and then there's this post credit scene and the mid credit scene and the post credit scene all setting up future
Both.
shit and none
Oh
of them are ever gonna be paid off. It's whatever.
no.
But
Especially the in Blade, dude,
yeah.
with black, like literally pour one out for Dane Whitman fans. That's another thing with TV. Dane could have been way more of a character
Yeah.
rather than just on the phone. You could have shown Cersei like being attached to humanity through him, like them
Yeah.
being like genuinely in love, and it like and that being a huge motivating factor. But Dane's just sidelined, and they bait him becoming Black Knight, and then that's just never gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's like great.
Um,
Ugh.
but yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie. I love it, and it was good rewatching. It's a hard movie to like want to rewatch. It's long. It takes like a
Yeah.
lot mentally because it's also exploring some deep themes. So it's kind of like not just like a movie you casually rewatch like most of the MCU type of like movies. So yeah.
Yeah.
Would you? Well, not would you? So it is your turn, Evan, to recommend a movie.
Indeed, it is. I'm going with a double feature related
Ooh.
to a movie that is coming out soon, which I am very much looking forward to. And that is 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later.
All right.
Because 28 Years, I think, is coming out like this next week or something like that. It's coming soon, the 20th, I think. So,
Right. Well, we're
yep.
gonna end up having to cover that. Yeah, I've never watched either, so I'm curious.
I have. It was a while ago. And I don't like. I didn't like adore them. They're very interesting. Like I think 28 Days was like the first. Like people usually cite that as like the first movie to have like fast zombies. Like a lot of stories have like fast zombies
Uh-huh.
nowadays. So and like virus infected zombies, but they're interesting movies and interesting spin on like the modern zombies. So yeah.
Curious to watch. All right, well, folks, that is it for today. Go watch Eternals, please. Or don't, whatever. I can be the only Eternals lover in the world. It's fine.
It's worth it. You should give
Yeah.
it another chance.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll catch you next week for 28 days later and 28 weeks later. So yeah, bye bye.
Bye bye.